Welcome back to my channel. Today, we explore the value of specific coins. The most valuable 5-cent Jefferson nickel coins value in market. The 1966 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, even in dirty condition, and what it's worth right now in the market. At first glance, the 1966 Jefferson nickel might look like your everyday pocket change, especially if it's dirty or worn. But did you know some of these coins, even in less than perfect condition, can fetch a surprising price from collectors? Let's break it down. The 1966 Jefferson nickel was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint stopped using mint marks on nickels for a few years, from 1965 to 1967, as part of a plan to discourage coin hoarding during a coin shortage. So if your nickel has no mint mark, that's completely normal for 1966. Now, you might think no mint mark means less valuable. But value depends on more than just mint marks. The condition, rarity, errors, and demand among collectors all come into play. So, what about a dirty 1966 nickel? If your coin is grimy or shows wear, is it still worth anything? The answer yes. Well, pristine uncirculated nickels are the most valuable. Even circulated or dirty coins can have value, especially if they're scarce in circulation. For a 1966 Jefferson nickel without mint mark in dirty or circulated condition, typical values today hover around 150.00, which is slightly above face value, thanks to collector interest. But that's just the general range. If you find one in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, the value can jump to $1,000 or even more. But what really makes a 1966 nickel stand out are rare errors or varieties. Some 1966 nickels feature rare minting errors like double dies or die cracks, which can push values into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. But since we're focusing on the dirty or circulated 1966 nickel without mint mark, here's the bottom line. If you just found one in your pocket or coin jar, it's usually worth a bit more than 5 cents, but likely not enough to make you rich. Still, these nickels are a great coin to collect, especially because they mark an interesting period in U.S. coin history. And who knows, you might stumble on an error or rare find hiding under that dirt. Next up, the 1987 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark, but not just any regular nickel. We're talking about one with reverse side damage, and why that makes it one of the most valuable nickels you can find today. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his historic home, on the reverse. The 1987 nickel, minted in Philadelphia, that's what the P stands for, is pretty common. Millions were made. But here's the catch. Some 1987 P nickels show significant damage or errors on the reverse side that can skyrocket their value. So, what exactly is reverse side damage? It can mean several things, from accidental damage like scratches and gouges caused during circulation or mishandling, to die cracks and die breaks that happen during the minting process. Some collectors mistakenly throw these damaged coins away, but in reality, some of these errors are rare and highly collectible. Condition is everything when it comes to coin value. Most damaged coins drop in value, but error coins with certain types of damage actually become more valuable. The key is identifying whether the damage is post-mint or mint-related. Post-mint damage, like scratches, dents, or corrosion, usually lowers a coin's value, but mint errors, like die cracks, die clashes, or double dies, can make your 1987P nickel worth a lot more than face value. The 1987P nickel has been found with a few notable mint errors, especially on the reverse. Some show clear die cracks running through Monticello's roof or the lead airing. Others have what we call strike doubling or off-center strikes, causing a distorted look. If your coin has these features, even with damage, it could be valuable to the right collector. Now, let's talk numbers. A standard 1987P Jefferson nickel in circulated condition usually trades for just face value, 5 cents. But those with significant mint errors or reverse damage caused during the striking process? They can fetch anywhere from $170 or more, depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Examine it carefully under magnification for die cracks or unusual marks that happened at the mint. Check the coin's condition. The better the condition, the more valuable it is. Get it professionally graded by a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC that can authenticate if it's a true mint error. To sum it up, while most 1987 Jefferson nickels are common, those with reverse side damage caused by mint errors are a hidden gem for collectors. If you spot one, it could be worth more than you think, potentially hundreds of dollars in today's market. Next up, the 1965 Jefferson Nickel without a mint mark, especially one with a striking black shade. You could be sitting on a little gem. Today, we'll dive into what makes this coin special, why the lack of a mint mark matters, and what its value is in today's market. The Jefferson Nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. Now, the 1965 nickel is unique for a couple of reasons. Unlike other years, no mint mark was used on coins struck between 1965 and 1967. This was part of a temporary policy to discourage coin hoarding during a period of rising silver prices. While the 1965 nickel was minted primarily in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, none of the coins from these years carry mint marks. That's why this without mint mark variety is the standard for 1965 nickels now. What about the black shade condition? Most circulated nickels will show wear and develop unnatural patina or toning over time, but a black shade is rare and visually striking. This dark toning can happen due to exposure to certain environmental factors like sulfur in the air or contact with rubber, paper, or other materials. Over many decades, collectors love black-toned nickels because they add character and uniqueness. However, the value depends heavily on the coin's overall condition, clarity of design, and eye appeal. Average circulated condition. These nickels are pretty common and typically worth their face value or a slight premium, usually around $1,000.000. In uncirculated or mint state condition MS60 to MS65, the value can rise to about $180 depending on the grade and eye appeal. Now, for a black shade or heavily toned example in very fine VF to extremely fine XF condition, collectors might pay a premium of around $200 if the toning is attractive and the coin shows good detail. Remember, the key to value here is condition combined with the unique black shade toning, which makes the coin stand out from the standard grayish ones. If you think you've got a 1965 nickel with this unique black shade, consider having it professionally graded by a reputable company like PCGS or NGC. This can certify its condition and toning, boosting its resale value. And if you're buying, always check for natural toning. Some sellers artificially darken coins, which can reduce value. Natural black toning develops over decades and is highly prized by collectors. Next up, the 1939 5-cent piece without a mint mark, especially in extremely fine condition. Stick around because this little nickel could be worth way more than you think. First, a quick refresher. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It features the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, on the front, and his iconic Monticello home in the back. But what makes the 1939 nickel without a mint mark special? Well, the mint mark tells you where the coin was made. In 1939, nickels were produced at two mints, Philadelphia, which doesn't use a mint mark, and Denver, which uses a D. The no mint mark version means it was minted in Philadelphia. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced about 56 million Jefferson nickels, a pretty large number. But here's the catch. Coins from that year, especially in extremely fine condition, are not as common as you might expect. Now, let's talk condition. The extremely fine grade, abbreviated EF or XF, means the coin has light wear on the highest points, but all the details remain sharp and clear. This grade is important because coins in this condition are much rarer than those that are heavily circulated. When you find a 1939 nickel in EF condition, you're looking at a coin that survived decades of handling without losing much of its original detail. That's valuable to collectors. So, how much is a 1939 Philadelphia Jefferson nickel worth today? Extremely fine condition. Well, prices fluctuate based on the market and demand, but generally speaking, you can expect anywhere from $350 per coin. In fact, some coins graded higher than extremely fine, like about uncirculated or mint-state MS, can fetch significantly more, sometimes over $300 if the coin has exceptional eye appeal and luster for everyday collectors. Finding a 1939 nickel in extremely fine condition can be a great way to start or add to a Jefferson nickel collection. And if you stumble on one without a mint mark, you could be holding a nice little treasure. So, whether you're a casual collector or a serious numismatist, keep your eyes peeled for these valuable 1939 Jefferson nickels without a mint mark in extremely fine condition. They're affordable, historically rich, and hold great value for collectors. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next treasure hunt. Got a rare coin you want me to check out? Drop a comment or send a photo. I'd love to help.